It's the eccentric singer and dancer type that focuses more on making the battlefield into a dancing stage. It is KAB00 grade Kabuki, with a kit of triple virus, wheeled legs, and the leg ability of Charm, which grants a damage reduction against enemies of the opposite gender. Now, right from start, grade Kabuki may not offer a whole lot at start, especially since all three of his parts are considered heavy. That does definitely come with an extra diamond in the rough and silver lining kind of effect. Virus, of course, is an ailment-based skill that can inflict turn skip on a foe if you catch them in their heat phase, and will also prevent them from no dodge, I believe if I recall correctly, basically making good for very solid and conventional turn skipping if well timed and you can outrun the opponent properly. But wheel legs on top of that do make it very easy for grade Kabuki to actually focus on outrunning opponents, especially on terrains that he's good at, such as road, arena, and cyber in this case. But the leg ability of Charm does also tie into this pretty well, as it does boost that damage reduction against, in this case, female types, since grade Kabuki is a male, which can help keep you alive in the long run with an up to 20% damage reduction. In addition to this, even though wheeled legs are honestly still pretty niche and picky for what they ask for, the fact that his legs can support 3 heavy parts at once honestly is still nothing to ignore or sneeze at, because that is something particularly rare that you don't see on wheeled legs very often. However, across the board, I do have to rate grade Kabuki a relatively solid 5 out of 10. Not all that great, but also not terrible either, because Virus is still a very solid and conventional skill that can be made use of on any team that is in need of an ailment-based skill, especially a turn-based one. Of course, at the cost that, as I said, because they are all triple heavy, it means that you do have to factor that into the leg capacity if you are choosing to use any of his parts. And with his legs being wheeled, you do want to be very careful on the terrains that you do choose to use them on. As mixed parts, on the other hand, I do have to rate him a little higher at a 6 out of 10 for these very reasons. Triple Virus does kind of tie into the redundancy argument just a little bit, which does severely hinder grade Kabuki's performance on the field. But as mixed parts, on the other hand, you can make use of Virus just about anywhere, especially since all 3 of his parts are said Virus, so you can fit them anywhere with very easy flexibility. And then, as I mentioned, wheeled legs for the speed that they do offer on the terrains they're good at. Naturally high base speed, pretty solid stats all the way around too, and then of course a triple heavy slot for making use for more conventional shooter or even melee nukers with passive damage reduction, especially against incoming enemy female teams.